guys, Shelley Watts here. We are into the end of day 4 at the Rio Olympics, and it's been really exciting so far. Australia is 3rd or 4th on the medal tally at the moment, and obviously that's a great achievement so far, 4 days in. Our girls made history playing in the rugby yesterday by winning the first ever gold medal, which is really cool. Congrats, girls. So just here to my right, I've got a few questions that you guys have sent through to Ash for me to answer. So for the next half an hour, we're going to chill, and I'm going to have a look at the questions that you are asking, and I'm going to give you a bit of an update. All right. So let's start with Goodna State School in Queensland. The first question I have here says, what does a normal day or week of training normally entail? And how much training do you do? It's a really good question. So the way that boxing works is that we work off a 10-week program. And so we will train for 10 weeks leading into a fight. And for 9 of those weeks, we have to do 16 sessions per week. So that might sound like a lot, but that's just like we go into our work. So it's a bit normal for us. We do 3 sessions on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, and 2 sessions on a Wednesday with a Wednesday afternoon for a rest, and then 2 sessions on a Saturday with a Saturday for a rest, and then we also have a whole Sunday where we get to have a very good chill day. In those sessions, we would run every single morning that we're training, and then in the middle of the day at about 11 o'clock we would do a session, and that would probably either be a weight session so we can try to get big strong muscles, or it's a technique and skill session for boxing. And a lot of the time, because boxing is very leg dominant and we need a lot of footwork and we need to be really fast on our feet, our 11 o'clock session will be a lot of skills and agility, balance and coordination, all for our footwork. And then every afternoon we're lucky enough to get to do our boxing, which is my favourite because we actually get to punch the bag and punch the pads and do skipping, which is one of my favourite exercises. So at the moment though, so I said out of the 10 weeks, 9 we do 3-a-day sessions. This week, which is my last week before I have to fight on Friday, we only do 2 sessions per day. And at the end of the week, just before my fight, I actually will only do 1 and then I'll fight. So the 2 days, we actually take out the middle session where we're either doing the weights or the technique and the technical skill footwork, and we just do very short, sharp runs in the morning, and then we do a short, sharp boxing in the afternoon. So this morning I had to do 6 60-metre sprints, and then I would get about a minute rest, and then I have to do that 4 times. So that would be a normal run for me. So it only goes for about 12 minutes, so it's very short and sharp. And then this afternoon I boxed for about half an hour, and they're all 1-minute rounds, which is really, really fast. That's a really good question, guys. All right, next question. We're going to go to Gingilly Primary School in Northern Territory. Hey, guys. What inspired you to start boxing? That's another good question. So I was 22 years old when I started boxing. I was actually at university at the time studying a law degree because one day I want to be a lawyer. And I had to have a knee reconstruction because I used to play soccer before boxing. And what happened was I fell down in a tackle, and my ACL, which is a little ligament in your knee, actually snapped. So I had to have a knee reconstruction where they took that one out and they put a new one in. And I've got a very cool scar, but I can't show you guys because I'm in some long pants. But then after I started to get better from that and tried to get a little bit fit again, I started boxing for fitness. And then I went into a proper boxing gym and just fell in love with the sport because it taught me how to be disciplined, it taught me how to be driven, and it taught me how to be inspired by myself to keep training really, really hard and chase my dreams. So I was really lucky to find boxing from an injury, and I started quite late, but I think that the time that you start doesn't matter, and if you set your mind to it, then you can achieve anything. And I think that's what my story is showing some people now when I'm boxing. Okay, next question. Ashwood School in Victoria. Hey guys. Oh, I even get your names on these ones. Theo and Armin, sorry if I didn't say that correctly, from Year 5 have asked, what healthy food do I like? So as an elite athlete, we have to be really careful with the food that we eat, because not only is the food for us, but it's also the fuel for our training. So it's what we need to make sure that our bodies are going to be able to handle 16 sessions per week. So for me, my normal breakfast would probably be some scrambled eggs with some ham or some turkey and some tomato. Tastes really, really good, especially if you put some herbs on it. And then my lunch is just lots of salad with some meat. Some turkey is my favourite again, or some salmon. And then for dinner, I would have lots of veggies and some more meat, something different that I've had, maybe some steak. Who likes steak? Everybody likes some steak, right, guys? And then during the day, my little snacks might be some yogurt or some berries. Apples and bananas are my favourites too, and especially bananas, because that gives us lots of energy to do our training. So I always try to have some banana before I go to training, especially with some peanut butter on a little rice cake. That's my favourite. Tastes really, really good. You guys should definitely try it. Tell mum and dad. But yeah, and then getting closer to the fight, I actually have to be very careful with my food, because my boxing is a weight category sport. So I have to make sure that I'm 60 kilos when I go into the ring. So I have to be very careful and limited about 4 days into my before my fight, and I have to eat what they call a low residue diet, and that's where I have to cut out all of my salad and all of my fruit for a couple of days and just eat some white bread, rice or pasta for lots of energy, and then some meat. And that just helps me get down to weight, so then I don't have to worry about depleting my body too much. But that one is a really good question. All right, fourth school. Who have we got? Heidelberg School in Victoria. Hey guys, how are you? Just so you all know, it's like about 8:30 p.m. here. So we're 13 hours behind you guys. So you guys have got the sun when we've got the moon and the stars. So it's pretty cool. There's a bit of a contrast. The first question that I have from Heidelberg is, what has been your most memorable moment? That's a really good question. So this one's a tough one for me, because in 2014 I went to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, which is in Scotland, and I won the gold medal for my weight category, which was super awesome. It was lots of fun, and being able to stand on the podium and listen to your national anthem is one of the best feelings in the world for an athlete, and it's definitely what we train hard for every day. But recently, about 16 weeks ago, I went to the Asian Championships and I qualified to come to Rio and be able to talk to you guys. And then, I don't know if you guys seen pictures on Facebook or on the internet, but we got some really big Qantas boarding passes, and they were about this big. And when I got to hold that one for the first time, which was my ticket to Rio, I got goosebumps and I got really emotional and nearly cried, and I got really happy and I smiled a lot. And I think that probably was the most memorable moment for me. So there was two really good questions, really good moments for me. But I think that being able to represent your country at the Olympic Games is something that's super special. So I think that being able to get that ticket was my most favourite moment. All right, let's go back to Goodna State School now in Queensland. I have a couple of good questions here. Which one am I going to pick? Do you have a saying or motto that you live your life by? I actually do, guys. I love quotes, and I think that they're really, really cool, and they give me lots of motivation when I'm getting ready for a fight. And I have a special quote board in my room, and I actually brought it to Rio with me. And it's just some of my favourite quotes that I like to look at every day, just to remind me what I'm dreaming about. My favourite one is probably dream, believe, achieve. If you can dream it and you can believe it, then you can achieve it. that one's probably my favourite, because there's never a dream that any of you guys will ever have that isn't possible to be achieved. And I think that kids need to know that from a very young age, that everything is possible if you believe in yourself and you work hard and you have discipline, determination and drive to achieve it. So I actually have some t-shirts made up, some supporter shirts at my hometown, and I have that saying on my shirts. And it's a great way for me to just remind myself every day that I am chasing special dreams and I believe in myself and I know that I can achieve it. All right. Gingilly Primary School. Another one. How do you mentally prepare for a fight? That's a really good question, guys, because I think that the way that you can mentally prepare for an elite sport, you guys could use if you're mentally preparing to do a class test or if you're going to play a big sporting event on the weekend. I think that you could use the same sort of stuff that I use when I'm getting ready for a fight. When I was younger, a little bit younger when I started boxing, I thought that maybe I would have to be a little bit angry to get into the ring. So I used to listen to lots of music that would really pump me up and get me excited, maybe a little bit angry. But I found out that that didn't work. So now for me to get ready for a fight and to prepare, I actually just get myself as happy as I can. Because if you're happy and you have a smile on your face, everything's just that little bit easier to do. So I will listen to some pretty awesome music like Taylor Swift or Rihanna. One of my favourites right now is Megan Trainor. She does some pretty cool music, and that just makes me want to dance. And that's the way that I get ready for my fights, preparing mentally. For boxing individually, we also try to do a little bit of video analysis. So we have a look at the girl that I might be fighting, and we watch some video of her and just get a little bit of an idea for what she might do in the ring or what I might need to do to be able to beat her. And then the last thing that I do is I try to talk to my family, which are in New South Wales, because it makes me happy again, and it's something that, they're always going to be proud of me no matter what, whether I win, lose or draw. So I love to be able to speak to them just before I go into the ring, because they're the people that I fight for. All right, next question. Ashwood School in Victoria. I've got a question here from Jordan, Alex, Amelia and Tara in Year 6, and they've asked, how are you feeling about boxing at the Olympics in Rio? I actually just got back from our boxing venue just then, and I got to watch one of my teammates, Daniel Lewis, fight in his first fight, and he won. Yay, Daniel. And so now it just makes me feel so much more excited to be able to get into the ring, because like I said before, we do 10 weeks of training. So I've trained for 10 weeks now, and my body's ready and my mind is ready, and I'm just so excited to be able to put on the green and gold and represent my country in that ring. There's nothing more amazing than being able to wear these special colours and to have this emblem, this one here, sorry, sitting just above your heart, knowing that I'm fighting with you guys supporting me, with everybody back in Australia supporting me, and with my family supporting me. So I'm really, really excited. And that makes my preparation mentally a little bit better too, because I'm just super pumped to be in the ring. I'm feeling really good, so fingers crossed on Friday I can get my hand raised, because our hands get raised in the ring when we win. And then I can fight again next week, which will be great. Okay, Heidelberg Primary School in Victoria. What is a question we have here? Who is your idol? That's a good question, guys. So I'm a little bit different to most sporting people, where I think that every single one in my Australian Olympic team that is qualified here, and all the athletes, whether it be shooting or whether it be boxing or whether it be athletics or swimming, I think that everybody is amazing, and there are amazing athletes in Australia, but I don't actually have a sporting idol that I emulate or try to emulate. I look up to so many amazing people in Australia, But the one person that I look up to so much and I idol and I hope to make her proud every single time I get into the ring is my grandma. We call her Mama, so you guys can too. She likes that. And she has always been there for me. When I was younger, you know, she would always look after me when my mum and dad were at work, or she would always be the one stroking my hair as I went to sleep. And she's my superwoman. She has had to deal with a lot of things in her life, and she's always got a smile on her face, and she's always positive, and I love that about her, and I want to be just like her. So if I can grow up to be half the person that my grandma is, I'll be a very happy lady. I think that she's just absolutely amazing. Like I said, she's my superwoman, and she's the person that I look up to every single day. And when I get to go home, hopefully with the gold medal around my neck, she'll be the first person that I get to cuddle if I have a choice. All right, another one. Back down to Goodna State School in Queensland. I can see all of you guys are there, which is exciting. What sports did I play as a child? That's a good question. I played lots of sports when I was little. I was always sporty, and everything that I could try to play, I played. So I first wanted to play rugby league, but my mum said no because it was a bit too dangerous, she said, for a girl to play against all the boys and try to get tackled, which definitely isn't the case anymore, but maybe when I was a bit younger it was. So I started playing little athletics when I was younger, and I loved to do the running. And then I started playing soccer when I was 12 years old, and I would always swim when I was a little kid. And then the other two sports that I played were touch football and squash. I used to love all those sports. I went to state at school for soccer and touch football when I was in year 5, so around the same age as a lot of you guys. And then when I was in high school, I played a lot of soccer mainly. So I was playing soccer actually when I had my knee reconstruction. And now I'm just boxing, and I don't do any other sports because I don't want to get injured. So I just make sure I look after myself. But yeah, they were really, really fun to play when I was younger. And I think that maybe touch football was my favourite. All right. Gingilly Primary School in NT. What foods are you not allowed to eat leading up to a fight? That's a good question. I said before about how healthy eating and having to make sure that we fuel our bodies correctly. So the kind of things that I'm not allowed to have that I used to have in my lunchbox at school would be Nutella and roll-ups, packets of chips. I'm not allowed to have fairy bread. If anybody has any fairy bread, that's not allowed for me. What else? Do you know what? There's free McDonald's in the Rio Village here, so you can go to McDonald's and you can get free McDonald's, anything you want to eat, but I'm not allowed to eat it right now. I'm not sure if I'll eat it after my fight either, but I know there's been lots of athletes who, when they finish their competition, they go to McDonald's and eat it. I'm not allowed to eat any ice cream either right now, or chocolate. And the saddest of all right now is that it's actually my birthday in Australia right now, and I'm not allowed to eat birthday cake. I have to wait until after all of my fights, but that's okay, because after my fights, hopefully it'll be a golden celebration, so it'll be all okay. All right. Who have we got now? From Ashwood School in Victoria, I have a question here from Sophie and Zach in Year 6. Hey guys. It says, how is the Olympic Village and who do you live with? That's a really good question. So the Olympic Village here is amazing. It is really big. There are about 28 buildings here, I think, in total, and each of the buildings go up 18 stories. And we're really lucky that we have a pool right outside of out of our building right here. So if you want to go for a swim in between trainings, we can. We also have a hub downstairs where all of the athletes get together and watch the TVs to be able to support all the Australians if we can't get out to see them. There is a big food hall, and it is like the size of 2 football fields. That has about 1,000 athletes sitting in it every day, which is pretty cool. There's big water fountains. It all looks really, really, really cool. I'm actually in level 3 and I'm living with some other combat sport athletes. So I've just got girls in my rooms, and we have in there 2 taekwondo athletes, and we have 3 judo girls. So there's 6 of us in total living in a room, and they're really cool girls, and I get along with them really well. So it's awesome to be able to share the rooms with them. And I think it's good them being combat sports because they have a similar idea for this type of stuff that we have to do, because they also are in a weight category sport, and they also have to worry about eating the right foods to make the weight. And so it's really good just to be able to bounce off each other and work together and be supportive of each other while we're trying to make weight, and then obviously during our fights. All right, Heidelberg Primary in Victoria. What's another question you guys are giving me here? Who are your friends in the Olympic team? Well, we have a special hashtag for our Australian Olympic team this year, and it's called One Team. And we really are one big, great family. So I like to think that I've got friends in the whole entire Olympic team. Every single day when we're down in our hub where we watch different sports, we are all supporting all of our Australian team, and we're all sitting together talking and chatting. So this morning I was sitting downstairs and we had taekwondo athletes, and we had rowers and tennis players and basketballers and rugby sevens girl football players and some swimmers as well. So there's a big group of girls and guys that are all friends from all different sports. And I think that's one of the most special things about being here in the village, is that you get to meet so many cool people and you get to be friends with so many different sports, which is awesome, because usually I just travel with the boxing people. So I think that's one of the best things about being here, and especially being part of our green and gold Australian Olympic team, is that we're all really good friends. Right, I reckon we could be having one more question for each. So we'll go to Goodness State School in Queensland. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, guys. I'm looking down at your questions here. There's just so many good ones I have to pick. What is the best advice you were given? That's a really good one. I have a friend who plays in the Australian netball team, and she's a goalkeeper, and her name is Shani Layton. I'm sure some of the girls might know who she is because she's a superstar and she's amazing. And I think some of the best advice that I was given to me by her, and she said to be yourself. And I think that is something that's really, really important for everyone to know, but especially kids, because a lot of the time you guys might get teased or might get bullied for thinking that you're not normal, or there's something about you that's a bit different. But I think that is super special, and that's unique, and that makes you who you are. And so the best advice I was given by Shani is to be yourself and be proud of yourself, because you're amazing, because there's no other Shelley Watts and there's no other you, and that's a pretty special thing. So that was definitely the best advice. Jim, all the things that with boxing, I think it's an agreement sport that we would get on. And there was boxing is a really I've never tried to my opponent when I go into the ring, which means I won't ever knock them out because I'm not trying to hit them too hard. I'm just trying to hit them so the judges see it first. And I'm trying to move out of the way so they don't punch me too. So, but you know, that's what keeping your hands up here for, is to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you look after yourself so you don't get knocked out. Ashwood School. What's another one we've got here? I've got a question here from Jacob and Jen in Year 5, and they've asked me, was it fun on the plane to Rio? It was super fun. I actually came over to America. So for boxing, we came to America 4 weeks before the Olympic Games for some training to acclimatise and get ready for the time zones that are happening down over here, because there's 13 hours difference between Australia and Brazil. And so that one was really exciting because we knew we were coming to America, which is summer, and it meant that we got to have lots of fun in the heat. But then when we were flying down to Rio, it was really exciting because after all the training, it was finally here and it was finally time to come into the village and to meet all of our teammates and be able to start the final preparations before having to jump into the ring. You get goosebumps when you sing on the plane, and when you finally land in Rio and you touch down and you walk off the plane, there's lots of cameras everywhere and they're taking your photo and they're asking you for interviews, and it's all exciting, and it was really, really fun. And it's definitely something that I'm going to cherish for a very long time. All right. Heidelberg Primary School. I think that this will be the last question, guys, because I think I've only got about 5 minutes to go with you guys, as much as I'd love to stay and talk to you all day if we could, because it might get you guys to have a little bit less work for the day. I have to go to bed soon because I've got to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning for my runs. Did you ever feel like you couldn't make it? That's a really good question from Heidelberg. It's a good one probably to finish on. You always have self-doubt sometimes. You might wake up and you might be tired, or you might wake up and you might feel like you're a little bit cranky or you're angry or it's just not going to be a good day. And they're the days that you might doubt yourself and think, you know, am I going to make it? Is this something that I really should be putting my whole life into? But I think it's really important to remember that we have those days, just like I'm sure you guys have those days. It's okay to have a bad day, though. There's a saying, and it says, if you don't have any of the bad days, you can't appreciate the good days. And that's something really important to remember, I think, and it's something that I try to remember every day. Not every day is going to be a good day, and I doubt myself sometimes, but I have to remember to shake it off, as Taylor Swift says, and just let it be a bad day, and then go to bed and wake up on the better side of the bed the next day and smash the next day. So I think I'm pretty lucky that if I have a bad day, in the afternoons I get to go and punch something, so it lets out my frustration a little bit. If any of you guys want to start boxing, I recommend going to a boxing gym and doing it, because it's a really great way to start believing in yourself and letting out some frustration on a bag, getting some drive or some discipline. It's an awesome way. But yeah, thanks so much for all your questions, guys. I'm sorry I didn't get through them all, but you guys sent me so many questions. There's so many good ones. I'm hoping I was able to answer all of them really well for you today. Just a little bit of an update for me. I am fighting on Friday afternoon at 5:45 here in Rio, which means that on Saturday morning at 6:45 in the morning, you guys can tune into Channel 7 and you guys can watch me fight. Hopefully they will put it on, and hopefully I can get the W so you guys can all cheer, because you guys got to talk to me today. But thank you so much for having me today for your Chat to a Champ. I really enjoy it, and I love being able to talk to kids. It's one of the favourite parts for me about being an elite athlete, and I really do enjoy it. It's super fun. So thank you guys. Your questions have been awesome. I just noticed on the chat that Heidelberg Primary, grade 4, and Ashwood have both said to me, happy birthday. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. If I can sneak a chocolate, I might sneak a chocolate today. But just a little one, just a little Freddo Frog. Thanks to Cadbury. But yeah, thanks, guys. And I hope you had a good time. And I hope you guys get to watch me on TV on Saturday and then again next week because I plan on winning. Enjoy the rest of your day at school, guys. Bye.